I think they're ordinary people just wanting to have a photograph. I don't see them as extraordinary or whatever. They're just people who see an ad and think, well, might give that a go, just like you might see a class to do yoga or something you haven't tried, or maybe skydiving, or I don't know, something, or yeah, any sort of form. But what maybe I find interesting is the conversations that go along in the shoots, and to draw out that sense of themselves, and that it ends up being quite quirky sometimes. And I think ordinarily this wouldn't happen if I wasn't pushing the point of making this artwork. Yeah, it might happen in another sense, but it might not be shown in the gallery and to an audience that wouldn't see it. So
the work is very engaging, and certainly by looking at the photographs that your older work and talking about the people, it's fascinating the backstory and how they came to be in that situation. Have you continued connections with any of those people, or are they basically part of that process and you move forward?
Usually it's just for the project, and then yeah, we move forward, but some of them will come back and contact me and say, I want to do another shoot or something like that, or can I get those images? I'm putting my portfolio together, or you know, I want to hang it on my wall. But more and more I see that it's more about the chance or the performance element of being in a photo shoot. Especially some of the older works, or not the sort of the younger generation, sort of the older ones of just having a photo shoot.
You talk about new media, social media, etc. And certainly people can take photographs anywhere with a phone, etc. And so the digital has become incredibly ubiquitous and part of life. You actually shoot on film. You shoot on medium format cameras. So in many respects, there's an element to your work that is really like a travelling photographer coming into a place and photographing people. Why choose to shoot on film in this day and age?
I was taught that way, and I really love the quality of film. I really can't afford the digital camera that would give me the same quality at the moment. And more and more I like the slowness of film and what the process of it, you have to take the roll of film out, and then you can still have a conversation with the person. You're not clicking away, and sort of you start to find out exactly what this person, how they want to present themselves. It lets that downtime, lets them relax a bit more. And I might see something that I like, that I might say, oh, we'll go back to that pose or something like that.
So in a sense, when you photograph them, you have a sort of studio setup. Essentially, you have lights and a camera. So in many respects, that is quite confronting in terms of what we expect of photography these days. To go to that trouble is, very much a professional kind of setup. So did you feel that people didn't expect that, and maybe their intention had to change?
Yeah, I think a lot of them are like, oh, you're still using film. Wow. What's that camera? I think it's more than just them being in front of a lens. It doesn't really change it that much, although it allows me to figure out exactly what they want out of it. And it works for me, so I'll just keep continuing with it. But yeah, they do say, are you going to Photoshop that? And yes, I can Photoshop it, but I don't want to mess with it too much. And that's the beauty of film. You probably don't want to mess with it too much because you lose that quality. So, yeah.
So in many respects, living and working in the digital realm means that we can change things. I think with film, you get what you get. Sure, you can go through then a digital process that can change it, but there's something really honest about film. You can't really kind of mess around with it. Once that exposure happens, it happens, and you get the end result.
Usually some shoots might go for 4 or 5 hours if it's not actually working for me. And it is a negotiation. And I do have in the back of my mind what I sort of want, but I find it's kind of interesting just learning more about them, because I'm only really meeting them for that sort of first time, other than we've talked on the phone or we've emailed. I've seen images of themselves that they've emailed me, but I don't know, it's my nature. I can't just go directly, no, this is how it is, this is what I want, because part of my making of the work is that sort of push and pull, and sort of that chance moment. And they might do it when you're changing the film, and then you'll go back to it and say, oh, that angle really worked. Or, but so yeah, some shoots haven't worked, and I haven't used the work, which is, but mostly they do. I get something out of it, and I get what I want, and they get what they want. So yeah, push them to a lot of photographers and non-photographers. She tapped into a culture in New York, and people weren't looking at these people at that time, or that's just a little boy walking down the street, but that she drew out that pose in him, or he got it out of himself being in that situation. But yeah, her work is very influential to a lot of artists and non-artists too. I think I was going into an area in the countryside. Hunting is a big part of being in the country. And the response I got to my ads was quite a lot, but people were interested to present themselves as hunters. So, I mean, there's always for and against things, and not everyone likes every part of society. But yeah, I guess, this is shown, this particular work is just, this subject matter has only been really shown in hunting magazines. So bringing it out there, to another audience, sort of similar to what Diane Albus was interested in, the things that people weren't looking at, and people weren't looking at. So yeah, there's a good link. Yeah.
I mean, your work is definitely quite different to the way that women are presented within hunting culture. Anyone that has seen Babes and Boars and the kind of publications that are produced, it has an exploitative edge to it. In many respects, your work is about giving the subject the power to present them out at themselves as they wish to be presented, rather than, through the male gaze or, someone else. Did you find that they were kind of excited about that prospect of being able to present themselves, and did they see it as kind of aspirational, in the sense that they wanted to show themselves how they want to be?
Yeah, I think because I don't tell them what to wear, I don't tell them, I sort of say, well, whatever you go hunting with, that's fine, and you present yourself how you want to do it. Gives them more creative control, and allows them the work to be more honest, in my opinion, because I'm not totally directing them like a movie, sort of, pose here, wear this, your hair has to be done this way. So yeah, it allows them to have a nice portrait of themselves, and enjoy the process, and yeah, copped a lot too, and the gallery copped a lot too, and I was thankful for the gallery and the council's support of me and the model, and yeah, who would have thought that such a strong reaction to something that everyone knows is happening, and people do this for a profession, they go hunting. I find it strange, maybe me being a female photographer, then being female subjects, I don't know, is that more an open way to react, or I don't know what it was. I just was totally unexpected, and hopefully when they see the whole body of work, and this is art, that they will can have more conversations if they want, but in the context of the gallery and see the work and understand my practice. So yeah.
Well, she's had a lot of positive reports there from different people supporting her, and she's met some really nice people through it.
Yeah, and all the works that I showed in Sydney, there was a really good reaction from a community that haven't, been brought up around hunting, and it sort of brought back to home sort of, Australia is a big country, and activities like this go on, and so yeah, there was a lot of positive, and also with anything there are negatives. So, but hopefully, when seeing the whole body of work here in Dubbo next year, we can have another artist talk and some more conversations, and yeah, get people into the gallery, because this is what it's about.
I suspect there wouldn't be the controversy if you were a painter.
Or a male painter. That's the thing, like, you don't know what your controversy was. Like, was it because it was hunting? Was it because it was women? Was it because it was you as a woman photographing this? Like, it was really difficult to understand what people's issues were. It was all sort of really mangled. No one really had a clear, but it was great though to have had that passion come out from the community.
Yeah, I did an interview with Triple J's HAT program, and their audience is quite a young, mainly of the sort of age the women who have answered my ad and who are being models. And that sparked 600 comments on their Facebook page, and it was very varied, like, taking it to a whole nother level of, this is animal cruelty, and but this is survival. Some people do this for survival. So there was all these multifaceted areas, which is good in one sense if they can just focus on the art and have those discussions, not personally attack the models and me. But yeah.
Any other questions? No?
Just moving away from the subject, the controversy, I was just interested in your process of collaboration and how far through that goes when you're selecting the images. Are the models involved at that stage? Maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah, so after we've done the shot, it takes me a little while to scan them all, but when I've scanned them all, I send them, I take out the ones that totally didn't work, and then sort of say, this is what I liked, what do you think? And then they'll come back to me with the thoughts, and then we decide on the final one. And yeah, sometimes it's nailed it down to 3 or 2 or 1. But yeah, so it's those conversations still continue, and yeah.
Can I just ask if in terms of the choice of the size of the photograph, you were mentioning Sander before, whose photos are actually really small. Is size something you think about?
Yeah, it's funny, when I saw Sander's work in the art gallery in New South Wales, I was expecting big work, but these tiny little black and whites, and that's maybe photography from then on started to get bigger and bigger, and then the Gregory Cruison's big movie stills, Billboard, Jeff Wall's show on at the MCA at the moment. I think I like my certain size. You can't go too big, but I want you to be on one-on-one with the portrait, and sort of it has to be semi sort of lifestyle, life size. Yeah, I think and beauty of film is when you blow it up that big, you can still have good clarity in it. So
what size are they?
They're usually about 1 metre by 80 centimetres. Yeah, that's a really good point, and part of Kent's work and the team at Dubbo Galerie is the public programs and how we present the work, and we have kept a record of all those comments and discussions, and I know Kent's been screenshotting a lot. So we've got a lot of information, and it is, Kent could probably speak more about Dubbo's collection is around animals, so it will tie in well with the Galerie's mission.
I think in many respects for us, and for Emma as well, it was really important to continue the project as it was perceived from the beginning. And in many respects there was, with the controversy, there was certainly things that we couldn't ignore, but in many respects it did mean really focusing on what we aim to set out to do. There obviously is a lot of planning to be done between now and the exhibition next year, but in many respects the project is about portraiture, in particular of women who partake in a particular activity. And yeah, so in many respects it'll be quite interesting to see how the show actually pans out next year.
Definitely, we've been discussing publishing a book with an essay, so that works alongside an essay, and also another writer being involved, and educating people about hunting. Also, that you can't avoid that in the work, but also educating them about photography and art.
There is actually an essay in the catalogue for the Galerie Pom-Pom show. It's only a short one, but certainly for us at the Cultural Centre, this project has been incredibly interesting on a number of levels, particularly that these photographs operate on a number of levels. Certainly there is a very strong tradition of portraiture, a very strong tradition of hunting portraiture, and for us, from an educative perspective, there's a tremendous amount to be explored in terms of representation of women, about portraiture, about art, about photography, also about land use and about our relationship to animals, about colonisation. So it's quite an interesting project in the sense that we really can kind of engage on it, from a number of levels, and really good art should be a jump-off point in many respects to discussions and ideas, and I think these photographs have proved, even before they were in existence, that there was a lot to talk about. So yeah, there's still a lot of work for us to do in terms of how that show in April is going to pan out, but I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for us to engage the audience and engage schools and engage a whole selection of people about a number of different issues that these photographs explore. On that note, I'd like to thank you all very much for coming this evening. I'd like to congratulate Emma. I'd also like to congratulate the models. They probably didn't realise how brave they were when they had their photos taken, but they've definitely put up with some things that they probably wish they didn't. And so, yeah, congratulations. We're really looking forward to this show in April. And I will say, if you are someone that hasn't come to the gallery that much and want to know more and want to know when this show is next year, there's Friends membership forms just on the table over here. It's a really simple way of being kept in contact with the Cultural Centre and the things that we do. So please also take catalogues, etc. Thank you all very much for coming. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks.